Alright, so this is making Czech Bread Dumplings with Whitney Klein and Alexa Bielik filming, and Jenna Bielik here in spirit. Oh, and I already spilled a little. Oh, it's going to be fun. Okay. So the first thing we do here is crack 3 eggs in a bowl, and then we're going to whisk them up.
Alright.
Alright. And then we're going to need a cup of milk. Oh, foil on it. Good. Oh, like the artistry over here. Alright.
I'm trying to be like Pat.
Ooh, I like it. That's always a good call when you're trying to make films. Oops. Alright, just stir that together real quick. Okay, so then next comes the flour, and you want to make sure to sift it because it makes the dumplings lighter in the end, which is key. So we're going to do 3 cups total. So I'm going to start with a cup, get that incorporated. And then, let's see, there we go. I'm going to do another cup of flour in there, and then my baking soda, or excuse me, my baking powder, which is 1.5 teaspoons. And that pot sounds like it's going to explode, so I'm going to do this, something about that. Alright, so we got 1.5 teaspoons here. Get nice and level. Alright. Sifting. And then our last cup of flour. Alright, we got all those nice lumps out.
Looking good.
And then we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons here of salt. Alright. So now we start stirring together gently so I don't make a giant mess. Just work the flour into the liquid. Alright. So this is the part that takes a little bit of practice. So I can already see that this mixture is going to be a little too wet for what we want. So I'm going to add a pinch of flour already. So basically you adjust with flour or with milk to get the right consistency. So this looks a little better. So it leaves a little bit of a reservoir, but it's still fluid, for lack of a better word. Okay, so now comes the kneading part. So the way to do the kneading is imagining there's lines going across. And we're almost going to work like a typewriter. So we're going to go across our first row and then move up to our second row and pull it back. And we just keep doing that across the dough. So then we turn it around and we make our little rows again. And we just like our typewriter, go across. Going up to the next row. Going up. Keep turning it.
And keep typewriting.
Yep. Keep picking up the speed. And basically, you can't over knead this. So if you don't think it's done yet, knead it for another minute or two. Because once we add our breadcrumbs, which is the last step, we can't knead it too much more. So you want to knead it as much as you want now. And I like to pass it around our family and make Alexa and Jenna and my mom and anybody else who's around the kitchen do it, because after a while your arms get tired.
So am I going to put down the camera and take a turn soon?
Yes, you are.
Oh, surprise!
So now it's been about 15 to 20 minutes of just kneading. And if you notice, there's little bubbles forming as you knead. And once it's capturing all the little bubbles, or I should say big bubbles, then you know you're good to go. Alright, so then, once it's good and bubbly, you add your breadcrumbs. Now, I went ahead and cut these up, 4½ slices of just white bread, sandwich bread. And I cut them up earlier today so the bread's a little bit drier, so it kind of soaks this stuff up a little bit better. Get all the little crumbs in there. And then you go ahead and just knead it in. You don't want to break the bread up too much, but you still want to make sure it's nice and incorporated. So once the bread is all in there nice and evenly, we're going to put a bunch of flour on a cutting board. And I mean a ton, because this stuff is going to stick everywhere. And we go ahead and pour it out into a big log. Get everything out. Cover with a little more flour. Let me go get a knife before I get my hands too dirty. So now we're forming it into a nice log, and we want to get everything covered in flour so it's not sticky, is the goal. It's definitely a messy job. And then the goal is to cut this into 3 even logs. So, as close to even as possible. And we take the extra flour, and this is where you make your dumplings look pretty. So you put a ton of flour all over it, and you make it into a nice little kind of football kind of log. Got a little flour, there we go. Looks good. Like a ball. Do it with the other 2. Just flour all over it here. Make it look nice and pretty here. There we go. Last one. There we go. So then we're going to carry this guy over to the boiling water. So I just have a large pot of boiling water. And the bigger pot you can find, the better, because these guys take up a lot of room. So let me go ahead and just reflour this guy. Here we go. Throw it in. You want to do it as gently as possible. And then you want the water to come back up to a boil as quickly as possible. So now they'll cook 10 minutes on this side, because they kind of float up, and in 10 minutes we'll actually just flip them over 180 degrees and cook them another 10 minutes. So it'll be a total of 20 minutes in the boiling water. Alright, so this is the boiled dumplings once they've been cooking for 20 minutes. So this is a special tool. It's my dumpling cutter. And I actually got it from the Czech Republic. So you'd have to kind of do dumpling cutter or dumpling, there's our timer, or dumpling cutter or dumpling slicer on the internet. You should be able to find something like it. So basically while they're still hot, and it's important to do it fast, you slice them, and then with your 2 forks, kind of break them apart and start putting them into
The bowl.
a bowl. And if you look, this is what our finished dumplings look like. So a nice little round dumpling that's bread-like inside. That's going to just soak up all the juices of our chicken paprika, which we're making today, or our roast duck, which we also love to make in our family. So that's it, and I'm going to make Alexa, who's on camera, help me, since the faster we do the dumplings, the more delicious they taste. So thanks for watching, and hi, great-grandchildren from the future. I'm a ghost now.
Woo!